We tend to get caught up with microphones for sound, but actually you also need the right sound recorder. I also need to make a statement about recording in stereo. So first of all, to get stereo recording, you need two components. You need a stereo capable microphone and you need a stereo capable sound recorder. If either one of these pieces are mono only, well, then that's what you're going to get. You're just going to get mono. But this does lead us to the critical question that we asked in the previous episode. Why do you need to record in stereo? There are two major situations for stereo recording as a filmmaker. Number one, music is involved. If you're recording music in some fashion, then absolutely, you got to have a stereo setup. Number two, if you're at a large gathering, maybe a game of some sort, and you want to record the roar of the crowd in the stadium or the arena, then yeah, it really helps fill the room. But for all other situations, you should be recording in mono. So, recording your actors, that's mono. You don't need to do it in stereo. Now, I don't think there's going to be too many of you that are going to do the stadium jazz, the roar of the crowd. I'm just taking a guess. But music, okay. Maybe you've asked someone to sing on camera or play an instrument on camera. Well, yeah, if you're going to do that, then you should be looking at a stereo setup. So let's take a look at a couple of very inexpensive sound recorders from known manufacturers coming up here in this next slide. You can see the Zoom, you can see the Tascam, you can also see that they both cost under $100. So it's not too bad on the wallet. Now these units have onboard microphones and they actually are two microphones on both of them. Two microphones, that's what gives you stereo. Of course, they have a port for a plug for headphones as well as another port for an external microphone, which is something that you probably want to take advantage of. If you do the reviews on both of these units that I just showed you, you're going to see that the onboard microphone only picks up about a foot away from the mouth of your actor, singer, performer, whatever, just about 12 inches away, and then it starts dropping off. So you're probably going to need an external microphone. And remember, now if you're set on recording in stereo, then you're going to need a stereo microphone. We talked about how much those cost, right? Yeah, they are expensive. So I'm just saying that's something to think about. Now, when you add up the numbers, to me it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. You have to really, really want to record in stereo to consider these units. Otherwise, it just, it's not worth it. $100, not too bad, but, you're probably getting this for the stereo capability, right? Now you got to add on that stereo microphone, which is going to cost you hundreds probably. Ooh, to me, it doesn't make sense. You're just starting out in filmmaking and now you're buying all this equipment. If you do one film and you decide, this is not for me, I want out. Well, what are you going to do with all the equipment? You could use a camera, right? Everyone can use a camera, but a sound recorder? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to put it on eBay and you're going to try and dump it at a fraction of the cost. And speaking of eBay, if you really, really insist on stereo recording and you got to have one of these units, check out eBay because sometimes they do have a good deal on these units. Sometimes, not all the time. Your phone as a recorder. Okay, let's talk about something more your speed and my speed. And that's going to be using your phone or someone else's phone, a friend's phone, as the recording device. And the reason you're going to do this because it does save you money. Yeah, it does. And you won't have to buy a separate recorder like we just talked about. But many of these phones that are out there, such as mine and a lot of others, they can only record in mono. So once again, if you really want to have stereo recording off a phone, you're going to have to get a good phone. If you go back to episode 3 and you look at the list of the high-end phones that I made, yeah, those phones, they record in stereo. In addition to that, I've got a slide coming up here with a few more phones that are stereo capable in terms of recording. Okay, now folks, that's the last word I am going to say about recording in stereo. From here on out, I'm going to assume that you are okay with recording in mono because that's where I'm going to be coming from. Now, if you go with your phone or a phone as the sound recorder, then I do think you need to get a good recording app. You know, the default recording app that comes on anyone's phone is just kind of basic and doesn't do much. If you want to use this device as your sound recorder, take a look at RecForge. I think it's called RecForge 2 now. And that is really the best sound recording app on the market. It is no longer free. You do have to pay for it, but it does give you more control than what comes with your phone, including adjustments for the gain when you're recording. So that's pretty good. I would spring for the app and pay the money. I don't think it's very much. And with your phone, with that recording app, with a mono microphone, shotgun, folks, I think you're set. I really do. What microphone are we going to use? If you go back to the previous episode, I had mentioned the Takstar SGC 598. You know, that is a good mono shotgun mic. And I think that's going to be a setup that's going to do you quite well. Now, one word about external mics. It's got this little thing about the interface, the plugs. There's a TRS and there's a TRRS. And what those letters stand for is tip, ring, sleeve. Tip, ring, sleeve. I got a picture here to show you the difference. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because some of these microphones, I think a lot of these microphones, the plug is a TRS. They're not going to go into your phone because your phone wants a TRRS. So what you're going to have to do is you are going to have to buy an adapter to connect the microphone cord all the way into your phone. Doesn't cost that much, but it is something extra that you'll have to get. You got to get it online. I don't know of anyone that sells it in the store. Okay, folks, that's it for this episode. Now, if we're going to head in the direction of recording in mono, we've already laid out for you what you can do with your phone setup. But you know what? There's one more option that you might want to consider. And that's coming up on the next episode. It is my favorite option. I'm going to show you what I do. You know, there's pluses and minuses to it, but it is a very simple option. I think you're going to have a lot of fun watching it. We'll see you then. Aloha.